Hey folks, Cool18 here, and welcome to Let's Try Train Fever. Train Fever is a train game. It is a train transportation type of game. If you played something like Locomotion or Transport Tycoon or little games like that, it's going to feel very familiar, as opposed to something like a Railroad Tycoon. Railroad Tycoon is like a business simulation that happens to involve trains. This is a train transportation game that happens to involve a little bit of business. It is quite lovely to look at from this zoom level. However, you're normally going to be playing quite a bit higher, and first thing you're going to ask is, well, how big can the maps get? If I go ahead and zoom all the way out, it does get a little bit chunky at the far speeds or far distances, but you can get pretty darn big maps. This is actually the medium-sized map, and it has a lot of area to work with. It feels pretty roomy, and the pace of the game is relatively slow. I'm playing, let's say, right now I'm on normal speed. You can watch the days tick by. The game starts in 1850 and goes on until, I believe, 2050 or 2020 in the end. And to play that full sort of, that full play would take, I believe, I've been quoted at something like 10 plus hours at normal speed. You can also go up to this speed here, which I believe is quad speed there. So quite a sort of slow, casual pace to the game. I am playing a preview version, a beta version, and this time there's certainly a little bit of optimization issues. I actually had the chance to talk to the developer at Gamescom in Germany, and even then, demo, he said that at that point it was about two and a half weeks before release. And he said, like, they're just buckling down and trying to get things more and more optimized. We'll see if that happens. As always, you know, I never recommend pre-ordering games or early accessing games or anything like that, because you never know what things are going to be like at release. Hopefully they get the performance improved a little bit. We're going to cross our fingers there. Obviously, with the pace of the game the way it is, it's probably a little too sort of slow and relaxed to be a Let's Play, but I definitely intend to revisit the game in some fashion post-release to see how things go. Anyway, let's talk about some of the mechanics. So it is a goods transportation game, a goods and passenger transportation game. So if you have played something like a Transport Tycoon, or even, frankly, Cities in Motion, there's going to be a bit of a similar kind of vibe to things, to those things. So if we do zoom into the city, I mean, it is lovely. You can see, look at this. You can see people walk. Apparently, there's going to be 10,000 plus agents in the game. Every person here has a home, a shop that they go to shop to. They work somewhere and they go somewhere for leisure activities. Again, this started in 1850 here. The cities will grow organically on their own, especially if you provide them with transportation. They will become more and more likely to prosper. So yeah, all those agents are simulated across the map, which means later on in the game, when the cities have grown and there's more agents, it is going to be pretty hard on the CPU, let's not lie, but you know, it's nice that we at least have the chance to force that. So you may not want to go into the large maps into the late ages. Maybe you'll play on smaller maps. Well, again, we'll have to see exactly how the optimization works. So, like the Cities in Motion thing, the cities, again, they do sort of grow dynamically, but you can also, and I think they'll even pop down some more roads semi-procedurally. The maps are all procedurally generated, randomly generated. They get a seed number, so if you like a certain layout, you can copy paste it and send it to people or try again. If we did build a road here, there would be buildings. Oh, if I do this, I'm going to replace the farm. Oh, I guess that's fine. Who needs farms? It's only food. We don't need that. Let's build a little bit of a section there, and then do that. And then theoretically, if we wait long enough or come back later, there should be buildings that appear around here. But there's also a road upgrade tool that we can use to just make roads a little bit bigger. These here with the houses can only grow so big. Like if we go here, we could probably... Oh, hang on. Let's go to the big avenue. There we go. Big avenue. And you can see it, like, it'll automatically sort of narrow to its maximum potential over here because of the buildings. We could actually bulldoze these buildings, and then we'd be able to make bigger roads. Bulldozing everything is relatively cheap. You start with $3 million bucks, although it is debt. So you start $3 million in debt, but bulldozing a building, for example, is only $5K. Some of these things might get retuned. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, it is really a nice sort of lovely game to look at. So how does the gameplay actually work? Well, mostly what you're doing is you're going to be building these lines over here. So you can see I've got a few running. I'm actually turning a profit right now, which is pretty good. It's not the easiest game, especially at the start. You will probably find yourself taking out more loans. If I go here and actually check, again, I started with $3 million. I actually took out another 1.2 million in loans at some point. But the interest isn't bad. Like it's so low and so minimal. You'll burn through money quite quickly at fast building things, but other than that, it's not too terribly bad. So I've got a simple rail line running here from Totnes over to Hailsowen, and then I've got a bit of I was gonna say a bus thing, but it's actually wagons. These are my wagons, my horse-drawn carriages over here. And you see they stop for pedestrians that are crossing the street. Like, there's so much going on in this game that almost, like, doesn't need to be here. It's like, oh my god, this is so overkill on detail, which of course is the thing that makes these games awesome and beautiful. I mean, some of this could have just been sort of generalized and simplified, but isn't it lovely? Isn't it nice? I just love it. So yeah. So I built a bit of I guess, a bus network, a carriage network here. Later on, as we go through the ages, of course, we will have actual buses, for example. But now all we've got are horses. So you can see my little stops here. They've all got, I've got 4 passengers waiting there and 4 there. 1 here. So people will try to get to places on their own. They will walk places if they need to. But if your transportation network provides a shortcut to that, they will use it. If you do take a look at the lines, you can see that there's a frequency, how frequently one of these vehicles will hit any given stop. So this is line 2, which I don't believe we can rename, which makes me kind of sad. As far as I can tell, we can't rename the lines. But again, I think that's one of the things the developer said he was hoping to get in before release. We'll see what happens. Down here, you can see there's a couple of buttons here that also, they're not wired up. They don't do anything yet. And this will be a mini-map, and that's also not wired up at this time. So there's, you know, hopefully that'll get in before release. We'll cross our fingers. We'll see what will happen. What was I saying? Right, so this blue line over here gets serviced every 3 minutes. And I believe that's like in real time on normal speed. Someone should come to this stop. So what the people figure out is it takes me how long if I were to walk there on foot? Okay. Now, given how long it takes for the bus to get from stop A to stop E, for example, plus the frequency, which is kind of a wait time, okay, I will save time if I take a bus. So a lot of people in town may still end up walking. But some of them will take the buses, and specifically, if they want to get to, say, the next town, if they want to get to Hailsowen, again, you can see when we zoom out a bunch, or if we scroll a bit, and it's sort of loading in more graphics, there's a bit of lag there. We'll see how that goes. It's not killer, especially not at in 1850 here. So if they do want to get to Hailsowen, they can't walk there, so they really are going to have to take the train, and if they're looking to take the train, they will probably take my passenger service, my carriage service over here. In fact, the fact that there's quite a few people waiting, I'm thinking I could probably afford to add in some more vehicles. So we'll do that. I've got a road depot over here. Your vehicles, unlike, say, a Railroad Tycoon, the vehicles do not start at a station. They always start at a depot. So I'll go and buy some more road vehicles. Right now, the only road vehicles we have available are the Stagecoach and the Horse Wagon. Stagecoach carries passengers, and the Horse Wagon carries every other type of good in the game, which is coal, iron ore, wood, steel, or wood, oil, and goods. I don't know if there will be more or less goods later on in the game. Like, I've played more in an offline game on another computer, but I haven't gone and explored the late stages too much. So, you know, what type of goods may pop up later on, we'll have to see exactly how that goes. But yeah, the Horse Wagon carries everything. The Stagecoach area, and that's just a sort of an early first impression. So yeah, we'll buy some more Stagecoaches. We'll say I'll buy 3 more over here. And so now I've got a window for each one of those vehicles. By default, they're just in the depot. They're just there. If I take a look at my lines, you can see that there's some idle vehicles right here. And it is line number 2, the blue line, which right now runs every 3 minutes, but seems to have a few passengers kicking around. So I'll go ahead and assign them. Now I can do it from like the vehicle window. I can go to line and assign them to line number 2. Set line. There we go. I can do that. You can see the frequency has gone down, right? The vehicles are more frequent, so the delay between vehicles has gone down a bit. I actually would have preferred, I think, decimal here. I would have preferred if it was saying like 2.1 minutes here as opposed to number of seconds, because like, matching up these two, it's like, well, clearly I know this is less because it's in seconds, but I think a decimal would have been fine. The other thing I can do in my depot, I can say all these idle vehicles, I'm going to set them all to line number 2. There we go. So now we've got them running every 99 seconds, every minute and a half, basically. And hopefully that's not overkill. Of course, vehicles cost upkeep, so you could rapidly get yourself in a situation where you've put in too many vehicles and it's too expensive. They will all leave the depot at the same time. but then when they get to the stop, they're actually, they will pause themselves between launches so that the frequency is what you would expect, right? I suppose just like buses in real life, sometimes you'll end up with like 2-3 buses sort of waiting at a stop, but the next 2 are just idle and they're waiting for their timer to be like, okay, now's the time I should leave. So they will automatically spread themselves out so that you don't get kind of clumpiness. Very much unlike SimCity 5, for example, where often buses did clump up. So they'll, generally speaking, do the right thing. Oh, I'm sad, no houses have popped up over here yet, but we'll see what happens if we let things run. Anyway. So we got that. Actually plopping down stops, for example, are really easy. So yeah, right now it's just tracks and roads, no other transportation types. They theoretically could get added later on, but the point of the game is to just focus on those two, so that's all the developer has there. I could add a new stop to my, no, like that. There we go. I could add a new little sort of bus sheltery kind of looking thing anywhere here, and I could add that stop to my route if I wanted to. Yeah, there are 2 types of stops. So the road here, roads actually have both like street vehicles, like the buses type things and trucks, but you can also do trams. And the tram tracks, basically you're just upgrading a road and giving them tram tracks. Trams, I believe, run a little bit faster and probably have a higher capacity as well, for example. These are the depots. You can get the road depots or the tram depots, and yeah, you can upgrade the roads, which we looked at before. And then yeah, the tracks. So we can lay down some track. Maybe we can set up a new I don't know, a new bit of track to the next town over. Hills are pretty bad for rail. I mean, obviously they slow things down, but not only that, but there's really a maximum slope to the rail here. And so some of these towns, like, it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a bit of a plateau going on here. So Ipswich up here may actually be incredibly difficult to reach by rail. We'll see how that goes in release, but right now some of these hills are really difficult to navigate. So do I run the rail straight through town? Maybe. We could do that. Now you'll see here I get lots of collision warnings, and that's because there's buildings in the way, so it won't allow me to do that as is. But let's give the game a quick pause. Let's grab the bulldozer tool. Should we just bulldoze our way through town? Sure, why not? You guys, you don't live here anymore at all. It would be nice if there was sort of box select for this, because sometimes they leave little bits behind, little fences or little parks or something like that, but it seems to be relatively clear right now. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that because, damn it, we're super important. This may or may not be a good idea in the future. My station here has, I've got it set up with 2 tracks. I'm just going to grab one of the tracks and extend it for now and put it out like that. And there's a collision warning somewhere. Now, some of that, let's end it here and then see if we can't stretch it through here. What we're going to do is we're going to bulldoze this road. Yeah, I think it's because this road has 2 little nodes here. We'll remove that stop. Building there, so there's a building left here. Oh, it might be this building. It was. Okay. So we will be able to rebuild this road as like kind of a single node like that, which should make it a lot easier for us to run our rail through. So it can get a little finicky, but it's not too bad. You'll notice there's the numbers that show up here. That's the maximum speed that a train can take on this track. 120 will be the maximum with a regular rail. You can get high-speed rail later on, which I think will double it to 240. You'll notice if I bend the track, the max speed drops quite a bit. Now, at this point in the game, in 1850, this 120 kilometers an hour, you can't reach with the current engines. So it's a bit of a moot point, sort of kind of regardless. Build this segment here, and then, yeah, what we're going to do, we'll have to do the same thing where we sort of bulldoze this, probably. Let's see, can I build track through here now? Yeah, that'll be fine. Bit of a height thing. Hopefully we can rebuild the road through there as well. No. What if we bulldoze that little schmidge and try it again? It's colliding with something. All right, well, we'll leave it off. So again, some of the road building is a little bit finicky. It might not help that I've got things paused, actually. We'll see how it goes. Where's the next town over? Way over there. Let's go and put the station down first and then figure out the sort of in-betweeny bits. So train station over here, we can choose the number of tracks. So we can go up to 5 tracks, 320 meters long. This would be a major, major station. I think it'd be overkill now. I'm going to leave it at 2 tracks and 240. And it, by default, it will snap to a road. I can also just drop it wherever I want. I can rotate it with the M and M keys just to get things going. But yeah, I think snapping to this highway is going to be just peachy keen. And yeah, let's continue with the track. We'll probably have to eliminate this farm too, which is not necessarily the best, but there you go. So the further you reach it, by default, it will try to flatten or to keep the track as flat as possible, which means it will do a certain amount of like digging down or digging up, and if there's a bit of a hill, it will put a tunnel. The tunnels can be pretty pricey. As you can see here, we're burning through our money extremely quick. If I go here, where's the nut tunnel? Nut tunnel here, then as soon as there's a tunnel, it goes up very fast. So we may want to build it as one contiguous road, if that'll be the maximum speed. Or we might want to build it in smaller chunks, in which case we can probably get away without any tunnels, especially if we built a little closer there. What I think I'll go ahead and do, though, I can't afford the 1.71 million, but let's just go and take enough loans, here, to be able to afford that. Let's grab, like, more debt. More debt is fine. I mean, if it works for the government, it'll work for us, right? So we'll just connect, we'll just make sure to connect to the... you can see the lag here as we stretch out these giant roads and also pan around a bit. There. So I'm connecting up to the left track over there. We've got a bit of a tunnel going on. Actually, it's... Did I really tunnel the entire way? Wow! No wonder it was so expensive. That is an insane tunnel. It's also going to be a little bit inconvenient for making crossings and things later on. We'll see exactly what I mean by that in a sec. Go ahead and hit play just to get this going again. I think the lines have like auto-fixed themselves. No, this one here is actually complaining. Are these going to just nuke themselves? Let's take a look and see what happens here. I'm quite curious, actually. So right now I can't calculate the frequency. Things aren't there, because I think I left some stops behind, or they had the stops. I've actually never done this where I've bulldozed a road that had a stop. Some of the track's still operating. There we go. Okay, so it finally did get around to like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove these stations. They're clearly not valid. I'll recalculate the path. All right, that's fine. I think that's okay. Hopefully this town survives my demolishment. This is so crazy. This is a little bit mad, but there you have it. I don't think I'll be continuing the save simply because I think this track is insanity, but whatever. All right, let's create a new line. So we're going to create a new line that goes from this station, from Halesowen, over to Penwortham, like that. So we've got a new line. We will have to put on a train depot on this line. Actually, we don't. We can just keep using the same depot that I've got over here. Launching that first train will take a while, but that's going to be okay. We'll buy a train. Right now, the only train engine I have available is the D13 Spanish Bertoli Bahn. Kind of a German name there. Legendary Railway was known as the so you can build this from 1850 to 1878. It does have a lifespan of 30 years, after which we'll have to replace it no matter what. That a running cost, top speed of 40 kilometers an hour, and again there you can see that the the fact that I can run these tracks at 120 is not really going to come up very much. So I'll go ahead and buy the engine. Now by itself, it doesn't have any cars attached to it. So we're going to be doing passenger traffic, so we're going to go ahead and add some of these cars here. Each one has a capacity of 6 passengers, which I think, honestly, if we throw a couple on there and have a capacity of 12 is going to be fine. So we've got our train. It's currently waiting in the train depot. We're going to assign it to a line, which will be a line number 5. So we're going to do that, and it will start. Now, it should run on its own okay. We do have to, signaling is a thing here. You'll see the leave. It should take a right over here. Signaling is a thing. I've got these signals set to be one way, but the generally speaking, you don't have to actually explicitly set them. You drop the signals down, and the way it works is you can only have one train sort of per signal segment over here. There's no actual collisions, but trains will not pass each other automatically. So you can either do this double track thing, and actually if we take a look at our lines, you can see that my green line, line number 1, I've got it set up in such a way that the trains will generally just stay on the right hand side, They'll dock over here. Over here, because of the way that the segments work, they will go ahead and take the right-hand side and go over there. I could have explicitly set these signals to be one way, but I don't have to. The system will generally figure out something pretty sane by doing that. So that way, each one of these little paired tracks are basically a one-way track automatically without thinking about it. Technically, this place here is a two-way, but they will automatically manage themselves to not get in each other's way. So, all right, that's number one. And then over here, so the green line will end up on the right-hand side. The teal line or cyan line will end up on the left, which works out pretty well. And so this guy here, though, is he going to get stuck? That is the wrong train. This train here, what are you going to do? Are you going to get stuck? Probably, actually. You'll probably end up here, and you're not actually going to be able to continue on. It's kind of interesting that it hasn't whined about it yet, but it will at some point. So let's go ahead and hit the fast forward here and wait until he gets to the end and take a look at what that looks like. He will stop at this light and wait for this train to get by. Alright, that was a bit sketchy, but there we go. See what happens. Not that he's got any passengers to pick up anyway. No path. There we go. So, he can't actually get over there, so we're going to have to go and add a little bit more rail and get that done. What we'll probably do is pair up the rail, a lot like the last time, just because it's nice and convenient. By default, the rail will sort of snap to. You can also pull it over here, you can bring them together, but we'll probably do the snap to for a little while, assuming we can get through town, or we're going to have to bulldoze another building. Now, you don't have to do it in pairs. You can have mostly single lines and instead do sidings to allow the trains to sort of pull over and pass one another and something like that. Hell, maybe we'll do that. Oh, did you really already rebuild a building over here? God, settle down. I like to build this one paused. Let me pull back this segment over here. Grab you. I'm going to stretch it out just to try to keep the speeds relatively high. Do that. We'll also have to put down some signals over here. Like that and like that. Maybe a pair of signals over here just to make sure that this area is kind of exclusive. But now, this train, there you go, right away, it starts moving. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do this, no problem. And what we'll do on the way back... actually, let me cancel that. Let's pull it a little further back. Something like this. Oh, right. Can't actually build the track while the train is on top of it. No, it's really not. Try that again. There we go. And then we're going to put some signals there as well. Like that. And like that. That on the correct side? Yes, good. All right. So now this line here should basically stay on the right-hand side. It does go down to 1, which is kind of going to be annoying over here. And we're not... It's going to be very, very difficult for us to get in a position where we can run 2 trains on this line. It's not impossible, but it's not very convenient just because of that tunnel not being able to provide more passing lanes over here. So actually what I probably should have done is just a higher capacity train. I will go ahead and build a second train, and we'll put on some more cars here, but it's not a very good line. Let's be fully honest. We've got 4 passenger cars there, set line. You can be on line number 5 as well. And it will work. There's just going to be a lot of waiting for these guys. I could probably build another siding right over here to give them a bit of a passing zone, which probably is a good idea. So let me just build some track adjacent over here. And then do that. Are you complaining that there's a train on the way? Probably. Let me go and put down a signal. Vehicle in the way. Really? Still? Really? Because this whole segment has a vehicle? Is that a thing? Well, I should have built this out before I got the train running, apparently. Really? Oh, that's kind of annoying. Well, I did not realize that would be an issue. I can tell this guy to just go to the depot. Unable to find path, right? Which he will find a path. Once he gets to the station, you can do a turnaround at the station. So he will pull up over here, and when he leaves, he will flip around the other way. And I'm hoping that once he gets to the station, I'll be able to build some track again. This tunnel is the stupidest thing. Luckily, I think I'm still making money. Well, my construction costs were incredibly high. But if you take that out, we're doing okay. Yeah, between construction and the new vehicle, I think we'll be fine. Let's let you arrive at the station and hope that now I can actually build some signals over here. Can you let me do that? Okay, good. So this will create, again, sort of a new road section. And yeah, only one train at a time through this tunnel. And then, now that that's split up, I can merge this up that way. That way. Drop down some signals again. So I may be overdoing it with signals, but my idea is to, yeah, again, make sure that each one of these, you know, Ys are going to be limited to just one train per. Take a look at the track. There we go. There we go. Now it's doing what it is. So they will generally try to stick to their right. So they will allow themselves to pass each other here. Here, it's going to be limited to just a single train. And then again, here they will... Oop, they should pass each other, but I don't have things... Oh, because they're staying over here on the right. I can force the issue if I take this thing and make it one way. There we go. I can force things to work the way that I was hoping they would work. Okay, so now there's still a lot of one-track areas where trains may be stuck waiting from time to time, but generally speaking, they should be okay. This guy is running with one passenger. He's actually already got passengers, which is actually really surprising considering I don't have a bus service in the other town to sort of feed passengers to this station. I guess there's some houses close enough over here, which is good. But really, to make this train line profitable is I'm going to have to set up some buses in here in Penwortham and get people out to the station, because this is a little too far for most people to walk. It's only these guys here that'll really feel like they can use the train. There's not fixed distances. It is time-based, so they just calculate the entire route time and then go there. I will say that one way you can make money pretty well is by shipping those goods. If we go and there's a cargo layer I can turn on, and you can see cargo, and a lot of it will ferry itself. Like over here, for example, we've got an iron mine here. This is iron ore that is sort of being walked along the road. And over here to the left to this, this is a steel mill. There's also coal coming in from here and here. So the coal is all drifting in there. And then the steel mill is producing goods, which are then, I think it's just called good. Yeah, goods. Which are then going back to the town and are going to be consumed by commercial shops. So what I could do is set up a freight, a street-based, or a road-based freight service, or a train. I certainly could do trains, but I actually find it quite useful to just do the road-based one. Which one would be an example of that? Yeah, there we go. So I have a setup over here where my pink line is bringing. This is they call it a forest, but you can think of it as a logging camp. So logs, instead, they were walking on their own, but instead now they've computed that there is a better route, which is to go to this this cargo station. So if I go and build my my bus stations, which is this, I can switch over to cargo, which is what that is. So the cargo, and you can see here, the cargo will walk to the station, and then I have this pink line, which runs all the way over here, and will drop off the goods there, or the logs here, and then the logs will automatically walk themselves over to the sawmill. Now, the sawmill produces goods, and I'm actually not shipping the goods back to the town, because on these short runs, because of wait times and different things like that, it actually can be hard to compete against the goods just walking on their own. Because what I could do is I could put a station, say, in the middle of Ipswich, and then bring the goods over to there, but then they still have to leave and sort of walk. So between the fact that they still have to walk to get to places in the city, plus the wait time, it's not everywhere is profitable and possible. Here it might work. And also you can compete with the walking by simply throwing more vehicles at the thing. So if I got the wait time down to like, say, 60 seconds, then that might be enough to be like, okay, yeah, it's much more convenient to do that. But I'd have to just throw a lot of vehicles at the problem to make that work. So I'm not worried about the goods there. Probably would make sense to build a route over here. Okay, I was going to end the video quicker than this. This actually went on way too long. But let's very quickly build a little road depot over here. We'll go ahead and drop a truck stop there. Oh, I might not see the goods anymore. That's weird. I lost my cargo view. Over here. And I wonder if I could just build one for both coal, if they'll walk to the station. I don't know. You know what? I'll go ahead and actually pick things up this way. Okay, and let's make a new line. Off screen, a new line. It's going to be line number 6. There's actually going to be a few lines involved. So we're going to have one line which grabs coal from both spots. Actually, hold on. We're going to cancel that. Grab coal from the first one, bring it here. So this is going to be coal line number 1. We're going to make another line, which is going to be coal line number 2, from here to there. Then we're going to build a iron line, basically, here to there. And then we might build the goods line in town. We'll see how it goes. So I've got 6 lines. I've got a depot here. By road vehicle, we're going to do the horse wagon. I'm going to build, say, 3 of them and set them to coal line number 1, which is 6. Runs every 10 minutes, which is not very frequent because of the distances, but I think it'll still, consider it a win. We'll buy 3 more. It's easiest to do it this way, and assign it to 7, so that'll be some more coal. It runs every 8 minutes. We'll buy not enough money, so we'll buy more money, like so. Take on more debt. It's fine. What could go wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say, and this will be this red line because it is a long way. So I figured the extra vehicle would be a good idea. And so now that they're running and making lots of noise, we're going to close all this. And we're going to put on fast forward, and let's take a look at the goods. Will this... Oh, yeah, so the iron ore, they've already decided, yeah, this is a much better route than just walking it. So we're going to wait there for the vehicles. And we'll have to keep an eye on things to see if it accumulates too much stuff, in which case we'll run more. The coal, same thing, good. And the coal over here, same thing, good. Now, to compare, I'll throw down the goods. Actually, what I'll do is I'll probably put a truck station sort of on the far side of Telscombe over here, because the close ones, they might still decide. A new vehicle is available. L'Obéissant. It looks like, I don't know what that is. Is it another truck? Oh, it is. New This is I think this is not horse-drawn. This is an actual, like, gas-powered vehicle. So it can carry 1 extra passenger than the stagecoach and runs a little bit faster. So that's good to know. What was I going to do? Oh, right. That's what I was going to do. I'm going to bulldoze. I'm going to pause real quick. I'm going to just bulldoze a little bit of buildings over here and then drop down a truck station in the middle of town over here. And I will create a new line. I'm going to run out of colors at some point. That goes from here to there. I love how stripy the line gets from all the overlapping lines. It's fantastic. I gotta sneeze. And oh, I need to buy road vehicles. Still gonna do some horse wagons. We'll probably get another one real soon. I'll get a foursome of them and set them onto. Oops, I scrolled badly. To line number 9. So it runs every 4 minutes, which is pretty frequent. We'll see how that goes. All right, close all you. Hit play. Waiting for goods. This went, hopefully they will go here. I think these left just beforehand. I think this bad boy is waiting for some more goods. It says line usage. Oh, line usage, yes. There we go. Good. Upgrade scheduled in 12 months. And that's the other thing. Right now, it can produce 25 per year. And I think it can... No, it produced 25. Its limit is 25. So it's producing at its limit because we're bringing enough goods to max out its capacity. And it will self-upgrade. And it will continue to do that. I mean, I don't know if it's got like unlimited upgrades or more will pop up or what exactly how it works. We still got to see all this. But hey, we do have a pretty functional thing going on. Keep an eye on our lines here. I mean, they'll all sort of start off losing money because you're paying maintenance for them, like on their way for their first trip. But I think these will be profitable. I think they'll all make us a relatively decent amount of money once everything kicks in. This line number 5, this like stupid thing with the tunnel, may not. Actually, I guess it doesn't have the passenger traffic set up yet in that other town, if I recall correctly. Quite a few goods piling up here. So we actually might want to run more vehicles on line 9. A 4-minute frequency is enough that... not all the goods. See that? Now, some of these may be coming to the close end of town, right? And they've decided that it's not worth walking from over here. But some of it may literally be, we don't have enough vehicles, the frequency is not good enough. The fact that there are some goods piling up here is making me think that we actually are going to want to add more vehicles to line number 9. Now, unfortunately, there's no way to clone a vehicle from here, which I do find that quite annoying. If a vehicle is in a depot, you can clone it. Actually, I don't know if that comes up for cars. Definitely comes up for trains. Let's take a quick look. I think we showed that earlier, right? So if I buy a new horse wagon... Yeah, no, it doesn't actually do anything here. Let's buy 4, set them to line number 9. And hopefully they'll still turn a profit. It is possible, like, if I don't watch, it is possible that I will still see goods walk along this road, even though this thing is empty, and there's enough vehicles. And vehicles will be leaving the station empty-handed, just because of where the goods want to go. So, throwing more vehicles at this is probably not the solution. Actually, I just realized the first set of goods vehicles hadn't reached it yet. So I actually have an overkill there, definitely. So this is a goods vehicle that's going to be empty. Oh, a new train, the Bourse 1860. Ah, fantastic. All right, there are more goods over here, but it'll even out. The other thing I could, I don't know, I could build more than one of these exchanges, these truck stops. And so if I built one maybe on the west side and then there and had the trucks sort of stop at both places, it might actually move things over. But it's not the problem. Like, having things run over land is not necessarily bad. Again, these will probably all be close over here. They will help the city grow, and that's all fine. Oh, there's actually some coal going on its own. But you know why? It's because cities want coal as well. I can actually set up a new line. Let's say it just goes from here to there. And I could just throw a few vehicles at line number 10 just to supply the town with coal. Let's just throw 2 wagons. Not enough money. Of course there's not. Borrow. More debt. It's fine. Buy, set line number 10. Apparently it's sorted alphabetically, which is not necessarily ideal. But you know, that way we can help supply the town with coal. No upgrade or downgrade scheduled. There probably will be at some point. Let's take a look at what the upgrade over here looked like. It's a very compelling game. There we go. Now it can produce twice as much goods per year. We'll see if it starts to hit that cap at any point. And yeah, just the more we can grow this, the faster it'll keep producing things, and the more we can keep feeding the city. And there you go. There's Train Fever, you guys. I think this is going to be a lovely game, or I hope it's going to be a lovely game. Again, you can see here as I pan around while zoomed out. It's not so bad if I like keep going the same direction, but if I go to somewhere new and it has to load a few more graphics, it'll be a little bit chunky. But it's an interesting game, and I'm really hoping it turns out to be super, super awesome. So anyway, there you have it. Train Fever. Check the links down below. It's available on Steam and probably many other fine places. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.